Hi, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about using the proper terminology when dealing with your clients. Okay, I hope you guys all had a great Memorial Day weekend. I mean, for those of you who had the 3-day weekend, I know not every place did, but we had it here in England. There was a bank holiday weekend and it was Memorial Day in the States, and the guys in the Philippines, it wasn't a 3-day weekend, but we gave them the time off anyway because it was just easier that way. And it's just been nice, come back nice and refreshed. However, I spent like a lot of time this weekend just going through CVs. So we're hiring a new VA and I've just been going through like hundreds of CVs this weekend, and it's just been like, it's sometimes it can just be really draining. So anyway, I'm glad to be back in the office, right? So last week I had like several prospecting calls. It was like a really busy week. I had like lots of calls with potential clients about their apps and different work that they need done and stuff like that. And I met with one guy who we didn't end up doing the work with him, but he had found Overpass through the videos, and he had contacted us and we had a quick conversation, and it turns out we just couldn't meet the right price point, which is fine. That's the reason you have those first phone calls, right? You can't say, it's not their fault that their budget's not, not right, or it's not our fault that we can't meet that budget. That's just the way it is. And if you do a new piece of software, you never know what the price is going to be. I would so love to be able to give fixed prices. I mean, it would make that life so much easier, but there's so much complexity involved in even the smallest project. You have lots of things to consider, in terms of design and architecture and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it didn't work out, but I sent him an email afterwards saying, hey, thanks very much for talking. Sorry we couldn't make it work, but if I can help in the future, please let me know. And he sent me an email back, which I thought was pretty funny. Let me just read this to you here. I won't say his name because I haven't asked him for permission to use his name, but he did send this through to me. He said, I found your YouTube channel while researching apps. As with a car that's acting up, one never wants to seek assistance without knowing enough to be an active participant in a conversation. Unlike me, I suspect most of your YouTube viewers are fledgling app developers. Accordingly, you might consider a segment that talks about effective communication with clients and its value in the long-term business success. An ongoing challenge for me as a tech neophyte is explaining what I need to tech guys. Conversely, they often have trouble expressing what they want to do in user-friendly terms. Just a thought. And I thought, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, this is one of the things that I find really difficult when dealing, not dealing with developers. I mean, I feel comfortable speaking in technological terms with developers. But like for me, it's funny when he said take a car to the shop, because that's taking a car to the garage for if there's something wrong with it is like the total demasculating experience, right? Because you feel like, with computers and with the internet, you kind of, know what you're doing and everything, all that stuff, but you take a car into the shop or you call in and you're just, they ask a lot of questions and you just feel like, God, I'm less of a man because I don't know the answer to that, right? So even like I'll call up and I'll say, my car is having some trouble or it's making a noise or whatever, is it all right, can I bring it in? And they'll say, what's the make and model of your car? And I'll say, it's a 2000, I'm not gonna tell you what the make of my car is because it's not that great. It's a 2012 Vauxhall Zafira, Vauxhall Zafira 2012 automatic, right? Or no, manual, right? And I feel like really cool saying that. Like I feel like I'm like a motor guy, right? Just the fact that I was able to memorize those few bits of information, and then they'll come back and say, what size engine is it? And then you're like, I don't know, it's like this big, I guess. I've seen it, it's silver, does that help, right? It's like, no, 2 liter, 8 liter, whatever, and I don't even know the terminology enough to go forward, right? Or even worse, I hate dealing with taxes or insurance because they always use terms that I don't understand. Like they lose me in the conversation like really early on, like, what kind of deductible are you looking for? They'll use deductible and premium and all this stuff, and I know they're probably simple to get the grasp of them, but I just don't know why they just tell me things in layman's terms because, I'm not the financial guy, right? And a lot of people have that trouble with clients or with technology people, right? And you see this all the time when you get, I don't know if you guys get the same spam that I get from software developers, but it's always, it seems like most software development companies are marketing themselves to other software development companies, and maybe that's why I get that email. But they're never talking about, you know, building an app. They're always talking. They're leading with the technologies. They're saying we are specialists in PHP, SharePoint, all this kind of stuff. They'll list all these kind of things, which a lot of times, you know, clients don't know. One of the things I used to hate when I was a contractor or when I was a permanent employee, just like a developer, was I hated managers. Like, not all of them, some of them were pretty cool, but you know, the managers would run around and they'd be like, oh, I've got so many meetings today, I'm so busy, you know, your life is so easy, I have to run around all over the place, and like, I got all these meetings and I got to go talk to this person, this person, this person, right? And you're like, I'm the one writing the software, right? While he's out running around, like, you're sitting there coding away until the wee hours of the night, you know, just, you know, actually producing the thing that needs to get produced, right? But one of the things that is really good to get, and one of the things that I continually work on is working on the soft skills. You know, those soft skills that are not, I don't think they're as difficult to learn as coding, right? I think taking this is one of the things, I think taking somebody who's really good at the soft skills and learning them to code is much harder than taking someone who knows how to code and teaching them the soft skills. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, trying to do what I do, and rather than just like, I'll hire a salesman or I'll hire somebody else, is because I like being able to learn those new things, right? And a lot of times it is just learning how to communicate properly with clients. I mean, a lot of times, if I'll ask, like, if they have an existing app and they might come back and say, you know, our last developer was really terrible, or, you know, they died or whatever, you know, sometimes you get a brownfield project where they just want you to take over, and then you'll ask a few questions like, do you know what language it's written in? And they'll say, English, right? Say, no, do you know what computer language it's written in? And they'll say, they don't know whatever. Or they'll have a website and they don't know what kind of server it's on or what language it's written in, and they don't know if it's PHP or ASP or whatever, which is kind of makes sense. I mean, a lot of times they don't know. Or like me with the insurance stuff, like, I hear it, I learned the terminology, but then it just goes right out because I don't see the relevance in it, right? And it's really, you know, it's really something to consider. For those of you who would like to, you know, work with clients sometime in the future, if you could be the person that they code to that doesn't make, well, first of all, you don't want to make them feel stupid. I mean, this is the worst case I've had with trying to explain something to somebody where I didn't get the level of skill right. And this wasn't a client. This was just like somebody in the neighborhood. I was asked to show him how to use this website or whatever, right? And I went over and you know, like on his neighbor's computer. So I go, okay, so basically all you have to do is, this is a web browser, you click on this, it opens up the web browser, you put in the address there, and then and if you need to close it, you go up to here, press on the X and all this stuff, right? And then after a few minutes he said, so I moved the pointy thing with that thing that's underneath your hand, right? And I said, whoa, that's like really, like, I wasn't even expecting that. I wasn't expecting him to not know what a mouse was, which is a really extreme example. But I've had other clients who, even though they want an app, they don't have a smartphone, so they don't know anything about the app market. So I have to say, you know, what Google Play is or what Android is, and sometimes you just don't know. And I do have a tendency in client meetings, and this is something that I try to fix, like, I try to keep myself in check, where I will go off on a tangent of like the technology, how it works. That, okay, so you log into the form, it sends a push notification over here, it does this, all this kind of stuff, right? And sometimes it's you know, it's difficult for people to understand. Like, one thing that they don't seem to understand is why they need a server. A lot of times, you know, when you say, they just think if you put something into your phone, other people should be able to see it without there being any communication or a back-end database or anything like that. But it all depends, because like, if you went through and assumed that the person didn't know any of that kind of stuff, they'd find it really insulting. The same way when you're talking to another developer and they assume you don't know anything, it's like, this is a database, like, this is the technology or whatever, and you're just like, yeah, dude, I know, just look, carry on, you know. Let's try to pick up the conversation here a little bit. So it's really hard to feel those kind of things out. But I guess the point I'm trying to make today is, you know, sense the frustration in that email. A lot of clients have that kind of frustration, and if you could be the confidant, the person that they come to, and you don't make them feel, I mean, it's really important not to make them feel stupid, the way that the mechanic makes you feel stupid, or the insurance guy makes you feel stupid, right? When I don't say what language is it coded in, I say, you wouldn't happen to know what language it's coded in, would you? I mean, oh no, that's okay. Okay, we'll have a look at the code, or you don't have access to the source code or whatever, right? And you have to, sometimes you have to explain what those are because you don't expect them to meet you halfway, right? There's, you know, if they're paying you, you're the person who comes in and helps them out. At least that's my opinion. You guys might disagree. You might think, you know, they should pick up a book and learn, you know, all about software development before they call you. But, you know, it's I don't think that's the case. I think if you could be a well-rounded developer where you could speak in layperson's terms, and also at the various levels of layperson's terms. You've got layperson like they've never used a computer before. You've got laypersons like they've been on the internet before, but they don't know very much about apps. You got layperson where they don't know the difference between an app and a website. You got layperson where they've used iPhone but not Android, so they're not sure the differences. And you got different levels of stuff. And you know, this day and age, people are far more technical than they ever were before. So it's, you know, it's not as bad as it used to be. Anyway, sorry to ramble on again. That's it for today. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.